Rasty McGibbon with John Hogan, head coach at Maryville University. John, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
You guys kick things off today against Indiana Tech, a team that you actually have not faced this year. How does that change the game plan in terms of going up against someone that you didn't play in regular season?
Yeah, I was talking to another coach about this the other day. You know, sometimes it's nice to come in, for example, like Adrian and Calvin, they kind of know each other. But then also it's kind of nice to say, okay, we haven't really seen this team, so we have to kind of worry about ourselves as much as them, just because we don't really know anything about them. So we're playing Frank a couple times next year, but this is the first time we get to play Indiana Tech, so we're excited for the opportunity.
Nationals last year were kind of like a home game for you guys, but now in Marlboro, how's the experience been for your team?
You know, it's instead of being 18 minutes away, it's 18 hours away.
Right.
So a little different experience, as Paul behind the camera has given me a nice little facial expression. But
not Paul.
No, God forbid. So it's been a lot of fun. Like I always think it's nice to sleep in my own bed, but as the guys are talking about, like we're so excited to go to Boston. We went downtown yesterday. So you have to remember that it's, as much as it's a phenomenal opportunity for our guys to showcase their abilities and hopefully make a run, at the same time it's about the trip, the camaraderie, seeing a different city. Again, downtown Boston yesterday was a lot of fun, so giving those guys experience in college is part of our experience.
When you have prospective players, how do you use your experience in the national tournament, not only as a motivator, but as a selling point for prospective students at Maryville?
I think everyone wants to win, so or at least that's who we're trying to recruit to come to Maryville, and I think all the top 10, top 15 teams are doing the same thing. So you have to use this as the carrot and the drive of this is where we want to go, and there's people that are kind of motivated that way, the challenge of, I want to compete at the highest level. So coming to this, showcasing to recruits, showcasing to our team of saying this is the ladder that we want to climb, this is ultimately the goal that we want to get to. So starting a program, this has always kind of been the dream to kind of become a top 10, top 15 team. So it's one thing to get to this point, and it's another thing to win it and also sustain it. So as you build a program, you just kind of have to check off the boxes of, get to the top half, then the top 25, then to the top 15, and we've been lucky enough to go to the national tournament now 3 years in a row. So sustaining it is kind of the next box that we get to check, and ultimately trying to be a top 5, top 10 team and having a real shot to win the whole thing. So just the evolution of growing a program is getting to this point, and I think winning breeds winning. So that's what we're trying to do.
Probably not a lot of people would realize how much of a hockey hotbed St. Louis is. And I had heard it and then saw it firsthand last year. Speak a bit to that concept.
Yeah, so I can say with the Blues winning in 2019, you think, of course they won, not a big deal. It really did fuel a lot of the growth and the grassroots movement in St. Louis. And Maryville builds a rink with 2 sheets. The Centene Ice Center builds a sheet with 3.5 rinks, with one being outdoors. Lindenwood has some ACHA teams now, and NCAA. Maryville has 5 teams. There's a lot of people in town that have a couple teams as well, if it's SIUE, if it's SLU. So there's a ton of opportunities in St. Louis to play at the college level, and I think you're seeing kind of the grassroots movement, props to the Blues, kind of see that evolve the last couple years. So, really proud to be able to give women's hockey players the experience and the opportunity to play as well. So I think you see all that evolving, all that coming to light in St. Louis, right smack in the middle of the country. So it's fun to be a part of.
For the longest time, I've been a D2 guy. My coaching days, my early involvement with the ACHA was at the D2. They use more of a pool play format, and women's one and men's one don't. Is it hard sometimes with the prospect of coming 18 hours across the country for one game, or is that the way you like it?
Depends how the tournament goes.
Right. No, I know. Yeah.
I understand why we do it, or why D1 and the D1s do it. you try to mirror it off of NCAA D1 of having the intensity, the pressure of one game. You come all this way, one and done. There is something to be said about that, and I think a lot of the teams do like it. You basically jump into a game 7 right away.
Right.
But from a budgetary standpoint, and coming all the way up here, and you come up for one game and you don't have a good game, and you go right home and you pay $25,000.
Yeah,
that's a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
So there obviously is kind of a sweet spot, but I know that the pool play at D2, D3, and women's 2 works for them. And if you're not a good first game kind of team, it probably works out well for you to kind of find your legs, and hey, at least we're going to go all the way up there and get 3 games. So I don't really know the right answer, but I know at D1, I know that's what guys like to do. And as a player and a coach, you got to be ready to go right away. You can't kind of feel your way into it. Even a period, that could be your season. So certainly the pressure intensity goes up quite a bit in those moments, just right when the puck drops.
Gotcha. Well, John, thanks so much for this,
Thank you.
Best of luck as you guys kick off here later this evening.
Appreciate it.
John Hogan, Maryville University, Men's Division I.